St Paul's Cathedral is truly fascinating. It is a building that has gone through multiple changes over the course of several centuries. It's been the site of many important historical events and is still one of the most iconic buildings in London's skyline.
St Paul's Cathedral is a dedication to Paul the Apostle, who was generally regarded as one of the most important figures of the apostolic age. The history of St Paul's Cathedral is very interesting, as at least 4 different churches have been built at this very site.
The first church dedicated to St. Paul was built back in 604 AD. The first church was a simple wooden church. Unfortunately, it was destroyed by fire. The earliest structures of St. Paul's Cathedral never lasted very long. They'd always inevitably be destroyed by a fire or Vikings' attacks.
The cathedral was then built for a second time and fell victim to the Vikings during a periodic invasions in 962 AD. But then finally came a cathedral that would last almost 600 years. This cathedral was built by Bishop Maurice and took almost 150 years to be completed. The structure is now affectionately referred to as the Old St. Paul's Cathedral, and it would be the center of religious life in London during his lifetime.
The style of architecture changed from Romanesque to Gothic. The cathedral choir was the first to be completed in 1148, enabling the cathedral to return to its function as a place of worship. Taking over 150 years to be completed, the final touches were applied in 1240. When the spire was completed in the following year, St. Paul also became the tallest church in Europe at that time, with a height of 489 feet. Sadly, this cathedral had also succumbed to the Great Fire of London in 1666. This fire destroyed 4/5 of London. This included 13,200 houses and 89 churches, one of those churches being St. Paul's Cathedral.
Of course, the history of St. Paul's Cathedral doesn't end there. Christopher Wren, who was initially contracted to renovate the cathedral, was assigned the task of completely rebuilding it. He had done 3 different designs before getting it approved. The first of these designs were considered too modest. The second design, known as the Great Model, was an ambitious project with a massive dome and Corinthian columns. This was also rejected as it was considered inappropriate for large processions. The third design had been approved after Wren reduced the size of the dome. However, Wren did go on making further adjustments after he had received approval.
The current cathedral has more in common with his Great Model than the original approved design. Overall, the current version of St. Paul's Cathedral was built between 1675 and 1711. After looking at the long history of the cathedral, this seems like a relatively short amount of time. Since that time, the history of St. Paul's Cathedral has been inextricably linked to the history of London itself. It's hosted many important historical events, such as the funerals of Winston Churchill and Margaret Thatcher, peace services that marked the end of both world wars, the wedding of Prince Charles and Princess Diana, the 80th and 90th birthdays of Queen Elizabeth II, and much more. Also, the tombs of the Duke of Wellington, Admiral Nelson, and Christopher Wren himself can be found here.
Okay, so if you liked this video so far, please don't forget to hit the like button. Also, please subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this in the future. Right, so let me continue. Today, St. Paul's Cathedral invites people from across the world to discover the impressive interior, the crypt with nation's heroes buried in, and a dome that can be climbed all 528 steps up. The 528 steps lead to the top of the dome and passes by 3 different galleries. These are the Whispering Gallery, the Stone Gallery, and the Golden Gallery. The Whispering Gallery is well known for its incredible acoustics, while the Golden Gallery provides an absolutely incredible view of the city of London.
The climb was definitely worth all 528 steps. Although we were exhausted, the view of London was spectacular. If you visit London, be sure to add St. Paul's Cathedral to your itinerary. You can book on their website, and this gives you access to the cathedral for a year. There are also tickets available at the door.
So if you made it this far into our video, then we have a bonus tip for you. If you enter St. Paul's Cathedral during the daily services, then it's absolutely free to enter. And thank you for joining us on our tour of St. Paul's Cathedral.